Hello, and welcome to the Hail Mary Joe 2 TD Score Show. I'm your host, Jose, and I want to welcome you to the 2024 season. Yes, and we have two great games starting us off this year, but before we do that, let's just go over some of the results from last year. So, last year I counted 137 multi-scores. That's 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, or 4 touchdown scores. So 137 of them. This is from week 1 to week 18. I don't do playoffs, I just do the regular season. So out of the 137, we had 120 2 touchdown scores. We had 13 3 touchdown scores, and we had 4 touchdown scores. So with regards to that, out of the 137, we had a couple of lean weeks. We had a good 4 lean weeks. Normally there's an average of 7 or more per week on average. And we had 1 week of 2, that was week 6. And we had 2 weeks of 3, week 10 and 11. And then we had 1 week of 5, 1 week of 6. And then all the rest were all pretty good after that. So just to let you know, in week 1 last year there were 9. So I do suspect there could be some great opportunity this year. I think that this year is going to be a little bit more scoring than there was last year, but that's just my opinion. I'm a guy that thinks of the glass half full. So that's what we're going to go with. This year, week 1, it's going to be, I don't like to do stats for the first 4 weeks of September because last year's team and this year's team are 2 different teams. Last year's players doesn't translate into this year's. Last year's success is not necessarily this year's success. It could be more, it could be less. It's just a different player, different season, different team, and it will make all the difference in the world. Now we have 2 great games. We have 4 teams, 4 very high potential playoff teams playing. Baltimore Ravens against Kansas City Chiefs, opening up the season Thursday night. And then after that, we have the Green Bay Packers heading to Brazil to play the Philadelphia Eagles, another 2 playoff destined teams, or at least they're ranked to go into the playoffs. So anyways, that's it there. Now, with regards to that, I decided to take 2 players from each game. Okay, I took a running back and a receiver, okay, tight end, whatever, player, and I parlayed them with each other. So the 2 players that I have for Thursday night's game are parlayed with the 2 players on the Friday night's game. With regards to all my bets, I'm going to do like last year. I'm going to bet 50 cents on the 1s, I'm going to bet 50 cents on the 2s, and then when we start winning some money, I'm going to bet the 3s, probably not the 4s, 5s, and 6s. It's just not worth it. I just think it's a waste of money till you can, really think that you can hit one. And you got to remember, these are long shot bets. Now remember, this is only what I'm doing and only what I'm doing. This is not financial advice. I'm not authorized to give you financial advice, but I am allowed to tell you that, yeah, these are the bets that I'm making, but I'm making them, not you, me. So anyways, that's it there. So with regards to the first game between the Baltimore and the Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs, there were a lot of odds that were pretty much the same for both teams. I mean, you had Derrick Henry, 2 TDs at plus 450. You have Isaiah, I call him Pikachu. It's Pacheco. I know. Please, I do apologize. Me and name calling are not the best, but please, I do not mean any insult to injury when I mispronounce a name. It's just unfortunately a bad habit, or it's just me, and I do apologize for it quickly. So then you had, like, for example, in the Baltimore Ravens, you had Derrick Henry at plus 450, Lamar Jackson at plus 1400, Mark Andrews at plus 1400, and Zay Flowers at plus 1600. Now the thing is, yes, they brought in Henry, I'm sure, to take some of the goal line work, but between him and Jackson, you just don't really know who's going to run the ball inside. And then you've got Andrews and Zay Flowers, the 2. So I didn't go with Baltimore. I think that Kansas City's going to come out strong. They're going to avoid or try to avoid what happened to them last year with the Detroit Lions, and they started out the year 0-1. No, Kansas City wants to three-peat this year, and they're going to do everything and anything that they can to get into a quick start and get that number one seed so they can rest up, because they know that's their best bet to a three-peat. So, on the other side of the ball, you had Isaiah Pacheco, at plus 600. Travis Kelce at plus 600. Rashid Rice at plus 1,400. And Xavier Worthy at plus 1,400. And Marquise Hollywood Brown at plus 2,200 for 2 touchdowns. I decided to go with Pacheco at plus 600 and Worthy at plus 1,400. I really like this guy. I was high on the rookies last year, Rashid Rice. With them, it took him a while to get in, to get caught up or acclimated to the NFL and started producing touchdowns, since that's really what we're concerned about. I think Xavier Worthy's going to do much better this year. He's going to hit the scoreboard a lot quicker, a lot more often. And even though, there's no word on Rice right now if and when he's going to get a suspension, whether or not he does or doesn't, it all depends. And Worthy's going to be that number one receiver right behind Travis Kelce. So that's who I went with. Isaiah Pacheco, 2 TDs at plus 600, and Xavier Worthy, Kansas City, plus 1,400 for 2 TDs. Now, I paired them up with 2 players from the Green Bay to Philadelphia game. Now, let's talk about the players here. Baltimore running is something like Philadelphia running. You're, just as likely to get a touchdown score from your quarterback as you are your number 1, number 2 running back or anybody else. Now, with regards to the Philadelphia Eagles, we had Saquon Barkley at 2 touchdowns for plus 500. Jalen Hurts, 2 touchdowns plus 550. What's the difference? I don't know. Well, 0.5, yeah. But at the end, is it going to be one? Is it going to be the other? You got me. Chances are, push tush, maybe. Who knows? Then you had A.J. Brown plus 700. Devontae Smith plus 900. And then Dallas Goedert at plus 1,800 for 2 touchdowns. So, you had the 4 top scoring threats for Philadelphia Eagles, all under plus 1,000. So, their odds aren't that great. They're pretty low for 2 touchdowns, right? Especially at the beginning of the year. They just don't know, I guess, who's going to score. Maybe they all have a great opportunity to score. I didn't go with any of them anyways. I went with the homers this week. I did. It's week 1. I went with Josh Jacobs. Let's just go over the players. The top 4 players for Green Bay this week are Josh Jacobs at plus 500. Jaden Reed at plus 1,400 for 2. Christian Watson at plus 1,800 for 2. And Romeo Doubs at plus 1,800 for 2. So I went with the new running back, Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to get all the goal line carries. A.J. Dillon's gone. And with the other rookie, Marshawn Lloyd, we just don't know yet. He's supposedly questionable. So we'll wait and see. And at the end of the day, they're paying him big money to come in and to be the number 1 running back, and they're expecting a big year from him, so he will get the opportunities. So now between Reed, Watson, and Dobbs, with the Green Bay Packers receiving corps, you just don't know who it's going to be, how it's going to be, or where it's going to be. I went with Romeo Doubs. He's been having a great camp. They had a great, all 3 of these receivers have a great rapport with Jordan Love. But at the end of the day, I'm going with Mr. Shorthands right now, who I think is going to come out strong out of the gates, is going to be Romeo Doubs at plus 1,800. So what I did with these 2 is I've parlayed Pacheco and Worthy with Jacobs and Romeo Doubs. I put 50 cents on the singles, so 4 singles at 50 cents for a total of $2. And then the parlays of 2 are 4 parlays of 2 at 50 cents, $2. I'm spending a total of $4 for this game, or for these 2 games, right? I'll be back later on in the week with the full breakdown from the Sundays to Mondays games and everything else. You guys, please remember, if you're going to gamble, only gamble what you can afford to lose, And remember, this is not financial advice. This is strictly advice as to what I'm doing and only what I'm doing. I'm not authorized to do that. So enjoy the games, have fun, gamble responsible, and I will see you later on in the week. Enjoy.